Hey, what's up guys? So I put together a list of 20 hints and tips and subtleties and utility moves that can greatly enhance your card magic. In this video I'm going to teach you 5 of them, so this will be part 3 of a 4-part series. If you missed part 1 and 2, I'll leave a link down below. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first tip I have for you is props. So whenever you get a new bicycle deck, the standards, what you want to do is, or what I do is, when you open it, you can pull the tab here like a pack of cigarettes and just open it like this. That way you can still keep the cellophane on. Reason being is this: when you open it, you take out the jokers and the junk cards, and you put one of the jokers inside the cellophane here. That way it looks almost like the old rider back decks with the back design on there like that. I just think, especially if you're doing professional work, it looks a lot better than just having a bicycle deck like this with the logo on it and everything like that. So just take a joker, put it inside there, easy as that. Another bonus tip, I guess, is taking a Sharpie and writing a prediction on this joker and sliding inside of there. That way it's an extra built-in trick later on if you want it. These classic rider packs are a little bit hard to find these days, but I live in the States and there's a store called Menards, and these actually come in a 2-pack with some dice and everything, so I just stocked up on these. While we're talking about cards, another deck I like to use is a brand called Hoyle. Bicycle makes them, it comes with the classic back design on the box, and they're actually really good cards. They're one of my favorite decks. And they're actually super cheap. You can get them for about $3 at Vanishing Ink, and I'll leave a link down below. I wasn't going to do this, but since we're here, I want to show you something pretty cool that you can do with New Deck Order. It's how to get an size Stebbins out of the box. Alright, so the first step is removing the Jack, Queen, and Queen of Spades like this. Just upjog them how they are and transfer them to the face. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is a simple mnemonic to remember. It's 2 sports teams, the 76ers and the 49ers. So what you do is overhand shuffles. The first one is 7 cards. Just run 7 cards like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and throw the deck on top. The next one is 6 for the 76ers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, throw them on top. Now for the 49ers, 1, 2, 3, 4, throw on top. And then 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, throw on top. And that's step number 2. So step 3, the last step, is doing 2 perfect in-faro shuffles. And what you do is you cut at the Jack of Spades and then the Ace of Diamonds for the 2 faro shuffles. And I remember it as the movie or the show Jackass. Alright, so the first faro shuffle, cutting at 26 at the Jack of Spades. And the in-faro shuffle means that the Jack of Spades becomes the new bottom card, meaning that the bottom packet goes inside of this upper packet. That's all that means. So you do the in-faro shuffle like this. Oh, that's not even perfect. Try one more time. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not doing this for performance. It's just setting up ahead of time. Alright, so there it is. Alright, faro shuffle number 2, cutting at the Ace of Diamonds. Alright, again, the in-faro shuffle means that the Ace of Diamonds becomes the new bottom card. I got it. And now you're in size Stebbins. You can take a look and see that we are indeed in size Stebbins. So since we're in size Stebbins, I want to show you a pretty cool trick I came up with that I call a canasty. It's based on an old canasta trick. So what you do is you hand the deck to the spectator and have them cut the deck as much as they want to. It's not going to disturb the stack. Alright, they can cut anywhere and have them stop at some point, and then take the top card and put it aside to where they can't even see it. In fact, tell them to put it in their pocket. So right now, nobody knows what that card is in their pocket, so a good way to find out what it is looking at the bottom card. You see it's a black 6, so we know it's a red 9. In fact, we can quickly find the mate because it'll be exactly 26 from the face of the deck. So in the action of saying, look, you could have cut anywhere, all you're doing is spreading about halfway down and looking for that red 9, which is right there, and then just casually cut it to the top. And now what you do is you say, look, would you be impressed if I had the card that matches that card inside of my pocket? And of course they'll be like, well, yeah, I would. So what you do is, as sort of a gag, you put the whole deck inside of your pocket. Alright, so let's pretend that that's their pocket and this is my pocket. Alright, now what you do is you say, at the count of 3, we're both going to take our cards out at the same time. And then so you go in your pocket, they go into theirs, and say 1, 2, 3, boom, just take the top card, you take that out, and they match. Alright, so tip number 2 is a really cool sort of a self-working force called the curious count, which I actually taught this in an earlier video, and I'll leave a link down below too where you can watch that. It's a way to force a card asking the spectator to name a number between 5 and 10. And some of you started asking, well, what if they say 5 or 10? So in this tip, I'm going to teach you ways to get around that, but also ways to where you can ask them between 1 and 10. So I'll teach you this in the context of sort of a prediction trick. So the card you want to use as the prediction is the 2 of spades, or any 2. The 2 of spades is my favorite card, so I just use that. Alright, so have this in your pocket or an envelope in your wallet and you're good to go. Next, take the 2 of spades from the deck you're using and put it at number 7. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now you can have the spectator do maybe a spectator OC cut, which is they just cut the deck 3 times like this, which of course is false, or anything you want to do. And then you ask them to count down 10 cards, dealing them face down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. To make sure they don't say 1 or 10, you say, look, I maybe peeked the bottom card, or I might know what the top card is, so maybe somewhere in the middle. So for answers 2 through 5, you're going to do Devine curious count number 2. If they say 2, you say, look, I knew you would say 2. That's why I have a 2 of spades right here. In fact, pick up the packet and spell the word 2 as T-W-O. Look at the next card. It's the 2 of spades. If they say 3, tell them to take 3 cards, put on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, and there's the 2 of spades. If they say 4, tell them to count down 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If they say 5, tell them to count down 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put these aside. Next, they pick these up, say, we'll get rid of some more. Put one on the table, put the next one under, put on the table, next one under, table, put those over there. Last card they have is the 2 of spades. So if they say 6 through 9, you just proceed as the other curious count. And if you don't know that one, I'll quickly go through it. But first, there's something you need to do, and that is Paul Curry's swindle mix. This is probably one of the best tips I'm going to be teaching you. So what happens is that you tell the spectator they're going to decide the order of the packet, and by demonstration, you do this. I can either deal a card straight down or mix them first. It's all up to you, all right? So when they do that, they say perhaps deal, deal, mix, deal, deal, mix, and mix. All this does is reverse the order of the packet. That's all it does. So now you see that the card now is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now if they say 6, they just take the packet and take 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put them on the bottom. The next card is the 2 of spades. If they say 7, tell them to count down to the 7th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they say 8, you just count in 2s by spreading and dropping. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. And the last card on the pile will be the 2 of spades. If they say 9, same concept. You just spread and drop 3 cards counting to 9. So that's 3, 6, and 9. The last card will be the 2 of spades. Alright, so tip number 3. Let's take a card, say the 5 of hearts, and we'll put it under the card box. Alright, of course, that was a switch. That's a random card, and I got the 5 of hearts on top of the deck. Alright, so Stanley Collins spread switch. A lot of people do it kind of, I don't say wrong, but in a way that is kind of obvious. Alright, so what happens is that you spread the deck, and you turn over a card like this, face up. And in the action of turning it down, you add this card onto it like this. That's slow motion exposed view. What I see a lot of people doing is trying to hide it by doing it really fast and jerky like this. So they do something like this. And that might hide the visible slight, but that just looks weird. So to really hide this and make it believable, we're going to use our card box as a prop. And we're going to use angles to our advantage, all right? So what we're going to do is spread the deck and turn over a card like this. And you want to look for somewhere to put it, to hide it, or to, you know, get it out of focus. And so you look around and you say, the card box. So this is the best angle to be in. So you want to do this and really shade it with your hand like this. That way they can't see anything that's happening. So I just took it and then you just put it under that card box like that. And this switch is made. So one more time, really exposed view, you spread the deck, turn a card over, use this as a lever to turn it back over, sort of align that there, and then add that card on it, put it under. But over here, that's pretty much invisible, right? Show a card, ace of diamonds again, and really shade this hand with it. So ace of diamonds, just like that. Put it under there, and that's on top. So tip number 4 is a multiple shift that is accomplished with misdirection. So if somebody's burning your hands, this won't really work. It happens right at the right moment when they're not really focusing on what you're doing with the deck. This is a bluff shift called the Grift Shift by Peter Duffy out of the book Duffy's Card Compulsions. So let me illustrate this. You have the 4 aces or any 4 cards that you want to control, and you can clearly show them loosely like this, and then turn them face down, and then right at the last moment you just say something to them and say, look, so the 4 aces go in random parts of the deck, and all you're doing is cut a little bit, maybe a fourth of the deck into your hand, and upjog that card and do that. Then lift up a little bit of cards that's above that outjog card like this, and then keep doing that same thing. So it really looks as though you're outjogging the 4 aces, when in reality they're just right here. So you can spread the deck, say look, 4 aces in 4 different spots, and then as you come to that ace that's outjogged, you close the deck, keeping a break above it as you push them in, and that you can just, you know, cut the deck at the break, and the 4 aces are on top. So one more time, you show the aces, and you say, look, we're gonna bury the aces, but first, what's your favorite ace? And as you say that, you turn them over, and as they're thinking about it, looking away, that's when you do it. Boom, they say the ace of spades. Say mine too. See, look, we'll upjog that one, next one right about there, next one right about there, then the next one right about there. You spread them through, look at all 4 aces in the middle of the deck, keep the break above the lowermost card, which is the ace, cut half of the cards above the break to the table, cut at the break, and then drop the rest on top. Now the 4 aces will be on the top. Ta-da! So this is not the type of shift that you want to be doing for the camera. If you want to shift like that, I did make a tutorial on a multiple shift that you can check out in the description. So tip number 5 is always have a duplicate in your deck of cards, and here's why. Being a purist is stupid. That's why. There's so many freaking great stuff you can do with a duplicate. Just have a duplicate, for crying out loud. Just do it! Here's a really cool sandwich trick I came up with called Hold the Horseradish, and that uses the duplicate. So the setup is you want 2 cards that contrast against the 5 of spades or whatever dupe that you're using. On top of the deck I have the 2 red queens, and below that I have the 2 black dupes. So what you're going to do is show the 2 black queens like this and say, we'll get back to these here in a minute. And as you're saying all this, you do the classic, sandwich load to load that in between the face-up queens. Now at this point, check this out. What you're going to do is Dan Tong's pad spread, which is this. You can turn them face down and just kind of toss them, and they'll stay like this, even though that card is in between. I actually have no idea why this works, but it works every time. As long as you have a card pad and that the card is face down in between the face-up sandwich cards, and you just sort of gently toss them like this, they'll always stay together. So obviously this is a huge advantage for a sandwich trick. You have that loaded, that duplicate loaded, and then you just force the other one. So just do the old trusty riffle force, getting into it from the overhand shuffle, undercut, in jog, shuffle off, lift up at the in jog, riffle force, boom. Nothing is easier. So what you're going to do is cause their card to vanish and reappear face up in between the queens. So I used to do this where I did the tent vanish face down and did it that way, but I realized that doesn't make any sense, because if you did it face down, then the 5 of spades would be face down in between. But when you do the spread, the invisible palm type, spread, it would be face up, so it didn't make really any sense. Until I read Ken Krenzel's Relaxed Impossibilities book, he has a move in there where it's a face up tent vanish, which makes a lot more sense. So here's how you do it. You feint like you're going to palm the card. Say, look, if I palm the card like this, you can kind of see it in the corners of the hand, right? And when you do this, you want to make sure you sort of clip it like it's a weird palm to do. You sort of clip it in between the fork here like this, so it's sort of like that position, because you want to have that same position when you do it the next time. So the thing is, you say, look, if I hide the card in my hand like this and do it for real this time, so look, you might see it peeking through the corners, but if I try to get it just right to where you can't see what's happening, then it looks like it's gone. But really, it's just there. That looks so cool. Alright, so you once again do the pad spread like this, and that card is face up here. Now what you do is the second time you go to do it, you do that weird clip position palm, and then since you do it, it's already sort of face down on the deck, so just do it the rest of the way. And you can erase this with the fingers to help it out a little bit. So what's happening is that card is just turning face down like this as you pretend to palm it. Alright, so when you do it like this, that sort of gets like that, and that happens. Alright, but from this view, you can't see anything. Alright, so just like that, and then it looks so neat, right? And then you come back over here, sort of like go from right to left like this to produce it. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. I really hope you learned something new from this video. And until next time, happy practicing. I love you guys.